An elderly mother is delighted. After the Court of Appeal rules, she should receive more money to care for her severely disabled son. The court has ordered the Ministry of Health pay 76-year-old Diane Moody for a 40-hour working week, considerably more than the 17 she is currently paid for. Her 51-year-old son Shane has Williams syndrome, is partly paralysed and has a severe intellectual disability. But as Eric Frickberg reports, Diane's is not an isolated case.
Gillian Wright is a 62-year-old Mount Albert widow with a 29-year-old son with autism and other conditions. She also has a 26-year-old son with intellectual disabilities. Although the pair get 6 hours of care in a special centre during the day and some home help 2 nights a week, the burden of looking after them is still intense.
Both boys are like young toddlers, really. They've got no sense of danger or anything, and they're both in nappies, and they need me to shower them and dress them. They can't do any of that themselves, so it's kind of a full-time role.
Gillian Wright is one of an estimated 1,600 families who care for their handicapped children long after they've reached adulthood and even middle age. Their predicament has been highlighted by Diane Moody's case in the Court of Appeal, where she objected to getting just 17 hours of payment a week at the minimum wage for the full-time job of caring for her severely disabled 51-year-old son. Beside the help for her sons, Ms. Wright gets a special payment of $265 a week, and she's not asking for any more money. The trouble is, getting even that help is a mammoth task.
You have to go through a needs assessor contracted to the Ministry of Health. So you've got Ministry of Health, Ministry of Social Development, and if your child's still at school, you've got the Ministry of Education in the picture as well. So it's just a total complication and very hard to work out.
Diane Moody was the plaintiff at the Court of Appeal. For the past 5 decades, she's been the full-time caregiver for her son Shane, who suffers from a severe intellectual disability and is partially paralysed.
For 51 years, it's always been a battle with the Taikura Trusts and the Ministry of Health. They simply just don't understand.
Jan Moss of Takapuna is in a similar situation. She runs a group called Complex Caring and also looks after her 34-year-old daughter. She has an epileptic condition called Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, which has left her severely disabled. Unlike Diane Moody, she wants to find a professional carer for her daughter, but she can't find one.
It's been a really long, hard slog, and I think that's really the issue. People at the Ministry of Health and those making all these decisions have absolutely no idea what our reality is. And I guess I'd like to challenge them to come and spend a few days with us just to actually see. I'll be 70 in July, and I've done 34 years of really intensive caring, and it's taken its toll.
Prior to 2013, the Ministry of Health hadn't paid family members as caregivers, but several judicial rulings found this breached the Bill of Rights Act by discriminating against them. The previous National-led government then passed legislation allowing some payments, but under strict criteria. The Ministry of Health is still considering Diane Moody's judgment and has refused to comment. For Checkpoint, Eric Frickberg.